Alright, so real quick, we're just going to talk about stretching for a sec. We're going to go over why we stretch, why that's important, and two different types of stretches that we do. And so I think the main question we're going to ask ourselves is, why do we stretch? We do it all the time without thinking about it. We'll wake up in the morning and kind of do just a stretch, get out of bed. We just subconsciously do these things. And any sport you ever played, you probably have stretched beforehand, or you should have. And we do these things, we don't really ask ourselves why sometimes. So really, there's two main reasons why we stretch. And it's basically the main reason is to prevent injury. First and foremost, we don't want people getting hurt. And so anytime we stretch, it's first and foremost to prevent injury. Second of all is stretching correctly can increase performance in whatever activity you're doing. And so that's why I see people stretching after and before. That's why there's two different types of stretches too. And they both do different, similar, but also different jobs as far as what they do for your body. And so I guess we'll dive right in to the first one. First type of stretch, I should say, is dynamic. And all dynamic means is you're moving with it. And so any kind of stretch where you're getting some movement in there, it would be dynamic. And what dynamic does is really does a great job of getting your heart rate up and your muscles warmed up. So when you first roll out of bed, your muscles are considered cold, which just they're tight, they're stiff. All right. So what dynamic stretch does is get you moving. All right, get your heart rate and your body temperature to rise, which warms your muscles up, and you'll be looser and ready to go. You'll be more explosive. So also they do a great job of increasing range of motion in your joints. And so, for example, if I'm doing, let's see if I'm doing a lunge here. If I'm lunging out right here, all right, not only is it stretching out my quad, my hamstring, and my glutes, but it's also getting this muscle, or that joint, my hip, to open up and increase that range of motion, so that way you're not going to be pulling anything there, no tearing anything in the hips, no hurt pulling your hip flexors. Everything there should be nice and loose and ready to go. Another example would be just your regular high knees. So if I'm sitting here, I get my knees up and just running right here. All right, what that's doing is it's doing almost the same thing as a lunge. You bring your knees up, and it's really activating that hamstring, that quad, the glutes, getting this hip opened up, and it's getting your heart rate up too. You're doing that right here, your heart rate starts to go up, or you breathe a little bit harder, and that's going to get your muscles warmed up and ready to go. And then kind of subconsciously there, you're also stretching, your calves and stuff like that. So those stretches, dynamic stretches, do a really good job of increasing your body temperature, getting your muscles warmed up, stuff like that. And so does a good job of getting your fast twitch muscle fibers ready to go, so you'll be a little bit more explosive when you perform. Now let's go into a little bit on the static stretching. So static is just the opposite. So you're not moving when you're doing it. So you're gonna take one stretch and you're gonna hold it for about 10 to 30 seconds. And what this is gonna do is basically just elongate your muscles and increase your flexibility. It's also gonna, increase your range of motion in your joints too. Not quite as much, but still is. But the main purpose of this is gonna be to elongate your muscles and improve flexibility. Also gonna break up any lactic acid you have built up in your muscles, which all that is just it's a substance that gets into your muscles after you work out, and it sits there, and that's what makes you stiff. And so static stretch does a great job of breaking up that lactic acid in your muscles. And then it's an example of a static stretch. We'll go over a couple real quick. Just one would be an arm across. And so I'll take my arm, bring it straight across my body here, and I'll hold it about 10 to 30 seconds. And you don't want to be uncomfortable. You want to be fairly comfortable. It needs to be challenging to bring it across. Bring it across as far as you can, to the point where it's challenging, not painful. You never want to stretch to be painful. You should feel a nice stretch here. in my pecs, in my traps over here, my delts should all be pulling across here, and you should hold it. And the more you do it, the farther you should be able to pull it. So maybe I start here at first, and I can bring it all the way over by the time I'm done. I hold it for 30 seconds and be about here. Another one would be just a toe touch. So I'm gonna get down here, bend down as far as I can to here, and just try and touch my toes. What I was doing, I'm gonna hold that. What I was doing is I stretch the back of my hamstring here, and yeah, get them hamstrings nice and stretched out. And like I said, the longer you hold it, the farther you should be able to go down. So if I start here and I start, you can feel the tension in your muscles, and it might be a little uncomfortable. It's starting to get almost uncomfortable. Hold it there for a little bit. All right, you should start to feel a little more comfortable here and be able to keep going down. Hold this for a little longer here, and then keep going down to the point where you can touch your toes eventually. So yeah, those are basically your two types of stretches. Like I said, both of them do similar jobs. That, you want to do them both. What we like to do is do a dynamic stretch before our workout, just to get our heart rate going. All right, get our explosive muscle fibers ready to rock and roll. We're gonna get everything stretched out too. And at the end, that's when we do our static stretch. We like to do it at the very end because you feel sore and stiff afterwards if you don't stretch at the end. So we'll do that, and it's good about breaking that lactic acid up, like I said, in the muscles. And so that's why we do it at the very end. And you'll feel a lot better than if we did both before. Then afterwards, you still have all that lactic acid built up, and you'll start to feel that stiffness. So we'll do dynamic stretch before the workout, and then afterwards, static stretch. Thank you.